Good afternoon, everyone. It's Ryan Munden here. I just wanted to take a little bit of time and talk to you guys about how to adjust the gearing on your mountain bikes. So it's super easy. I will just go through it with you and show you exactly the process, and you only need a couple of tools and you'll be up and on your way. I will be working on my downhill mountain bike. It is a 2019 Trek Session. I'm running a SRAM X7 7-speed derailleur. There are a number of different style of derailleurs for a number of different types of mountain bikes. This mountain bike just happens to have 7 speeds because that's all we require, as we are just mainly going downhill with this style of bike. On most downhill mountain bikes, you only have a rear derailleur on the bicycle, so there is no need to worry about adjusting anything on the front where the pedals are. The other side of our shifting mechanism is where we actually change gears or select gears higher and lower with our thumb and finger lever mounted on the right hand side of our handlebars. The main adjustments that I'm going to be focusing on is our cable adjustment, which our cable connects from our shifter lever down to our derailleur, and also our high and low speed limit screws. Our high speed limit screw is referenced with an H. Our low speed limit screw is referenced with an L. Now I will go through all my gears and we will see if the limit screws are set properly. So we'll just do an easy pedal, and we will cycle all the way up through the gears, and it doesn't go over top of the cassette, which is good. And we go back down to the bottom. And this happens to stay within the cogs of the cassette as well. Another easy thing to check to make sure that your limit screws are adjusted properly: if you draw an imaginary line between the lowest sprocket on your cassette down right through these cogs on our derailleur, then you'll see if they're in a straight line, then our limit screw is probably set adequately. Put it into first gear, and if we look down the first gear sprocket down to the cogs and see if they're in a straight line. If they're in a straight line, then everything should be good with that limit screw as well. If you need to make an adjustment on your lower high limit screw, all you need to do is you can actually watch me physically change the relationship between the cassette and the derailleur. As I back the high limit screw out, it actually changes that straight line from your cassette right down through your cogs on your derailleur. So now that we have the high and low limit screws set properly and we know that they are good, we can go on to the cable adjustment. So the purpose with the cable that connects the shifter lever to the derailleur, as the cable gets tighter, it pulls the derailleur into a higher gear. So if we find our bike is not shifting into a higher gear easily, it usually just means that the cable is too loose and needs to be tightened. And to verify if I need to do a cable adjustment, all you need to do is start pedaling and click it up into the next easiest gear. If the derailleur doesn't shift it into the next easiest gear, that means it needs to be adjusted. To make the cable adjustment on this particular derailleur, what we need is our 5mm Allen key, and we can just loosen off the cable clamp, and all we need to do is pull a little bit of that cable through, and we can tighten up that clamp. Again, we can just verify now that we've made that cable adjustment by pedaling slowly and clicking up to the next gear. If it goes into the next gear, that's fantastic. Your cable is now in very close adjustment. The next item that we're going to talk about is gear indexing. Now, gear indexing just refers to the ability of the derailleur to shift in between gears smoothly. So we might need to do some small adjustments to get gear indexing working properly. We need to start pedaling, and we can keep clicking up through our gears to make sure that they fully shift into the next gear. Mine aren't. So I need to do some more adjusting. Now we're into fine-tuning our gear adjustments. To do this, all we need to do is use the barrel adjuster on the shifter housing, which is right here. As we make an adjustment on the barrel adjuster, and if we were to turn it counterclockwise, we would be tightening the cable. Tightening the cable is going to allow us to adjust up into the next easiest gear easier. If our bike is shifting up into the easier gear well, but not shifting down into a harder gear, then we need to loosen the cable. To loosen the cable, we can go to our barrel adjuster and make some small adjustments, turning it clockwise back into the shifter. Once we're happy with our fine-tune adjustment, we can verify by going through all the gears and making sure that they go into the correct selected gear. And we are good to go. Thanks for watching my video on how to adjust gears on the mountain bike, and we'll see you out on the trails.